Hello friends, welcome to my channel Science Kids. Today we are going to learn about atoms. Before that, I will ask you a question. Have you ever wondered what the matter around you is made up of? It is made of indivisible particles called atoms. Let's understand this sentence with an example. Imagine what would happen if you cut an apple into smaller and smaller pieces. There would be a point where it cannot be divided further. At least, that was what the ancient Greece philosopher Democritus believed. In 450 BC, an ancient Greece philosopher Democritus wondered what would happen if you divide matter into smaller and smaller pieces. He thought there would be a point where matter cannot be divided further. He called these indivisible particles atomos. But his idea wasn't widely accepted because he had no evidence that atoms exist. After Democritus, many other scientists like John Dalton, J.J. Thomson, Ernest Rutherford proved the idea of atoms. We will learn about them in detail in the next video. In 1827, a Scottish botanist, Robert Brown, observed a pollen grain suspended in water. Brown noticed that the pollen grain moved on its own. On a separate occasion, Brown observed similar motion with dust particles. This observation ruled out the hypothesis that the pollen grain was alive. However, he was unable to explain the motion. Later, in 1905, Albert Einstein discovered that the motion Brown had described was caused by the collision between water particles and the pollen grain. He even proved it mathematically, thus proving that there are small particles all around us and further supporting the idea of atoms. Now let's see how does an atom compared in size to other objects. Well, let's see. If it takes billions of atoms to cover a full stop at the end of a sentence, imagine how small an atom could be. The unit of measurement for very small length is the nanometer. A nanometer is equal to 1 into 10 to the power of 9 meters. In this picture, we see that a bacterium is about 10 times the diameter of an atom. Meanwhile, a red blood cell is about 1 lakh times the diameter of an atom. Now let's understand the structure of an atom. Atom consists of a nucleus. The nucleus is made of protons and neutrons. The protons are positively charged and the neutron has no charge. Atoms also have electrons that revolve around the nucleus. Electrons have the opposite charge of protons. They are negatively charged. There is a particular path which electrons follow while revolving around the nucleus. This path is called an orbit. Atoms are still made of smaller particles called quarks and gluons. Imagine you take an atom of gold and cut it into bits, you will find quarks. Now take an atom of gold and cut it into smaller pieces, you will find again quarks and gluons. Here is a small question for you. If both the atoms of gold and lead are made up of quarks, then what differentiates them? What differentiates them is the number of protons, electrons, neutrons in an atom. Gold has 79 protons, 79 electrons, and 118 neutrons, and lead has 82 protons, 82 electrons, and 125 neutrons. In theory, you could turn lead into gold by taking lead atoms and removing 3 protons, 7 neutrons, and 3 electrons. But if that was very easy, every chemist in the world would be rich. We are in the end of today's lesson. Hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe and don't forget to ring the notification bell.